boy Bleeds. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 Party, I'm a real go-getter. Rock a fur coat, but it's not chinchilla. Who's that dude with the master plan? It's Mr. Pinecone with the mic in my hand. I ball on a budget, got a bag full of nuggets. Living life to the fullest before I'm kicking the bucket. No time for the haters, I'm the meat and potatoes. I'm the product of Anunnaki and godly invaders. You wanna go down the rabbit hole? Well, come along with me. Let me phone comb. Let me take you on a trip to the Pleiades or the Seven Seas. We can sail them all. Bring your dungarees and your toothbrush, your knapsack. We'll have a nightcap, then I'll bring you back. Mr. Pinecone's come a long, long way, so everybody get sideways. Sing it. I can't wait till Friday. Everybody's getting sideways. Pass the bottle back my way. Everybody's getting sideways.
What is going on, everybody? I hope that you are having a great morning. My name is Bleaves. This is Breakfast with Bleaves, and we are kicking off the day with... We don't have anything other than the market is pumping just a little bit. We're getting a little bit of Christmas relief. Now, when I say a little bit of Christmas relief, what do I mean? We're just getting back to where we dumped from a couple of days ago. So if you were able to play the dump over the last couple of days and make yourself a few bucks, buy me a Christmas present. The link in the wallet in the description down below. But as we can look over here, we can see, and this, by the way, is the news. All right, first up, Dow futures are up 6, but this is basically sideways trading, so we don't want to put too much into that. NASDAQ is down just a little bit. So when we come over here to the earnings whisper, we were getting closer here. So we saw fuel cell misses, Cognite misses, FDS beats, General Mills misses. So, we've got some significant misses starting off our day. So as we get closer and closer, and as we start to get more of these earnings reports in, and we see more and more misses, then things could get a little bit brutal in the first quarter of next year, and that's what a lot of people are starting to talk about. Good morning, Jay Manuel. Good morning, Diggy. Good morning, Alexis, Richard, Jeff T, Sergio, and if you haven't already, by all means, sign up for a membership over here. That helps me. It's $4.99 a month. Hopefully it's not that much, and it does help me tremendously to make sure I continue to provide you with this content that you know and love, so I appreciate that, anybody who does. Also, if you look over here, you can see that, we've had a nice little run on Ethereum, but nothing's setting the world on fire. The only thing is OKX again is still doing their thing. The OKB token still having a nice little run for the day. Everything else is just kind of meh. 24 hours, you're looking at the same thing. The XDC, Immutable is having a moment. Immutable launching with maybe WAGMI at the same time. Like, it would be really kind of cool to see all of that stuff happen. Would be amazing to see, a few of these things finally get to play out. And yesterday, if you missed it, there were still some WAGMI comics available. So we'll go look at that in just a few minutes. Good morning, Funniest. Good morning, Sergio. And maybe you can pick one up, but you're seeing the charts kind of a little more green. Still have that sell-off on Doge. Still have the sell-off on Ton, but otherwise, you're starting to look at a little bit more green in the market. And of course, it starts with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it cascades down from there. We'll see what's going to happen, but I do have some news, and I am going to show you some technical analysis on Bitcoin that should make you go, oh shit, we in trouble. So keep that in your pipe and ready to smoke at any moment, I guess is the phrase. What's up, Andres? So Let's start off here. We very little news from last night to today. How will Bitcoin perform in the final weeks of 2022? And this is actually a little bit of a it's kind of telling the same thing that I'm about to tell you. With just I'm going to use charts and stuff like that. 2022 has been quite turbulent for the crypto market. We expect a retest of the November lows near 15,600, and she's correct, in the coming weeks after a failed test of level 17 to 1800. Hey, Kai, I can see you. And good morning, Scott. Bitcoin could visit November lows. We ultimately expect Bitcoin to make a lower low, increasing risk to long-term supporters near 13,900. Now, I disagree with that number. It is possible, though, that we could see 13,900, but I'm going to show you what the number looks like it's going to be. And to be fair, like 13,000 seems like a more reasonable number at this point from what you're going to see, because there's no thirst right now for risky asset, and that's going to be a problem. But this right here, when they're talking about it, we're going to have a collapse pretty soon. But when we do, there's going to be a bounce, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about in just a second. Shiba Inu, if you invested $1,000 in January of 2022, what would it be worth now? And this is a great article because it shows you the volatility of cryptocurrency. If you invested $1,000 in Shiba Inu in January of 2022, what would it be worth now? We're going to skip all the posturing. We're going to skip all of the meandering through the article. If you had invested $1,000 in Shiba in January of 2022, your investment would be worth $251 today. You'd be down 75%, 74.9 to be exact. That's a loss of 749. They can take months or years to recover as the markets are firmly under bearish grips. Yuck. Also, South Korea has now frozen $92 million of assets from a Terra Luna sister firm. South Korean court has frozen $92 million worth of assets from Kernel Labs. 6 months after its collapse, authorities are still investigating the implosion of Terra and freezing the funds of people related to the firm. The Seoul Southern District has granted the prosecutor's motion to confiscate the properties of 7 persons. The people in question were involved in selling pre-issued Terra tokens for profits. So let's see what happens over there. Now, does that mean that Duquan or anybody was part of it? No, it doesn't mean anything yet. It's we're not in that space where they're going to need to prove a whole bunch of things. We've already established, or at least reasonably established, that the issue with Terra Luna and everything breaking down was because of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Citadel, and Ken Griffin. Like, we already kind of established that that's what caused it, and it is the fault of, by the way, Duquan for not having programmed it to prevent something like that from happening and not monitoring it properly and getting suckered into whatever happened. So he is still responsible, but he does deserve to at least be recognized as it's because of negligence in his programming ability, which it's programming ability. He was not malicious in stealing money from his own company. So at least as far as we know so far. So more on that as we get it. Also, John Carmack, if you don't know who John Carmack is basically the guy that invented Doom and Quake for that matter. And he has been a VR consultant for Meta, Facebook, for the last little while. And he has now left the building, criticizing the inefficiency of VR and metaverse project. John Carmack, the founder of renowned company id Software, an executive consultant for VR for Meta, has announced he is leaving. Among the reasons for his departure, he signals that there are inefficiencies and self-sabotage at Meta that have affected the work that the company is doing regarding its VR and metaverse efforts. Meta, the social network and metaverse company, has lost one of its leading VR consultants. John Carmack, a founder of id Software, creator of the Doom franchise of games, has announced his departure from Meta. In a Facebook post, he explains that his resignation for the company marks the end of a VR dedicated decade and reveals the company is plagued by inefficiencies regarding the work done towards VR and metaverse development. Hey, take that shit to id Software and let's go, baby. Let's get it. Guys, could you imagine having a Doom game that you could earn crypto on? Let's I mean, let's see what plays out, but I get this feeling there's going to be a non-compete, right? Anytime he leaves, it's going to be a non-compete in some fashion. So, there's going to be something that happens there. But like, whew, that would be very, very, very cool to see John Carmack come out of nowhere with some id Software VR games. But let's move on. BitDAO mulls $100 million token buyback for the next year. Pump anyone? Because that's how you get pump. Let's go see what happened with BitDAO when this announcement was made, and see if there's a pump that actually happened. Because when you make an announcement like this, then what you are doing is you are signaling to people, hey, it's time to get in on my, whatever. And this page will be created automatically using on-chain data. And it doesn't look like it. I guess we're going to have to find out which one it is. There it is, BIT. And, oh, look at that. It's pumping. Oh, look at that. It's fucking pumping. Oh, look at that. It's pumping. Duh. It's only up 1%, but the volume is already up 23% on the day. This announcement is just a few hours old. If you're trying to pump your price, nailed it. Also, Wintermute sees revenue plunge, but CEO remains optimistic. Now, Wintermute came into play, and I don't really remember the last time I heard about Wintermute, but they are a digital asset trading firm. They booked $225 million in revenue during the first 9 months. Like, Jesus Christ, how do you make $225 million in revenue? And oh my God. In 2021, the firm, led by former Optiver Trading Evgeny Gavoy, reported $582 million in profit. Wintermute has $400 million in equity, $720 million in assets. Wintermute came into play last year. I want to say we were talking about them sometime around the time that maybe they were going to fail. And this was somewhere around when everything started falling at the beginning of this year, far before Terra Luna. But there was a problem over here. And that was before or during the time that, what was that company that was in China? What was that company that was in China that was failing? That was, oh man, now you know what? Now it's going to escape me. It was a Chinese land development company, and they were not doing very well, and they were looking for the government to bail them out. Whatever it is, they owed money to Wintermute, and that's where I know Wintermute's name from. I just don't remember what the name of that company was. Oh, well. Moving on, Bitcoin miner Greenidge reaches debt restructuring deal with New York DIG as bankruptcy looms. Under the deal for restructuring, $74 million were Evergrande. There we go. Tech One got it. It was Evergrande. That was the one. They owed money. Wintermute was owed money by them. They got their money paid at the last minute, and that was the start of that collapse in Evergrande. But Bitcoin miner Greenidge reaches debt restructuring deal with the NYDIG as bankruptcy looms. So, look, Bitcoin mining is taking a massive hit right now, but we're going to get to the technical analysis pretty soon, and we'll be able to look at it. And guys, I really think that something big is about to happen. These three cryptocurrencies trading at a discount will give you Christmas cheer. Obviously, this is an analytics article. Almost an ad for something, but it says the Ocean Protocol gives a bullish RSI signal. After reaching a low of 11.5 on November, the price began a current upward movement. Very interesting development comes from the weekly RSI, which generated a bullish divergence and completed a swing fail pattern afterwards. This is a bullish sign that often precedes a bullish trend reversal. So it looks like maybe Ocean is a good play. Aave, this validated the 54 horizontal support area, has fallen since reaching a high of 115.80 in August 11, created a lower high on November 5 before accelerating its rate of decrease. The Aave price reached a low of $50. This validated the 54 support area. After a failed upward movement, the Aave price returned to the same level on December 20, creating a double bottom pattern. So we've got a double bottom that's emerged, and it looks like people are saying that moving above the 6650 area would confirm the double bottom pattern and likely lead to an increase towards $95. So they're clocking in right now at about 50. And if we go back to CoinMarketCap, we can kind of look at Aave, and it's pretty far up here, right? Or is it farther down? Yeah, here we go. So we're at 55.59 right now. So if this reversal plays out, then we're talking about 96. That's about an 80% increase in investment over what might be a short period of time. So it would certainly be worth at least paying attention to. So, and then finally, XMR gives hope for early cryptocurrencies. Monero is one of the oldest companies, launching in 2014. The XMR price seemingly completed an ABC structure inside, in which waves A through C had a 1-to-1 ratio. The bounce from the C wave validated the channel's support line and reclaimed the 126.50 horizontal area, which is in the 0.618 fib retracement support level. Currently, the XMR price is in the process of breaking out of the channel's resistance line. So there we go. Those three, Ocean, Aave, and XMR, might be good pickups. Let's move on. Lillian. We don't have any update right now, but it's still up here. So, I mean, if there was some kind of problem and there was some kind of issue, then of course it wouldn't continue to be there, right? I don't know. Maybe. Volt, celebrating 1 year. Volt is basically taking a victory lap at this point. 1 year ago today, Volt had a $70,000 market cap. Today, it has a 60-something million dollar market cap. So shout out to Volt Inu. While the rest of the market tanked, while the rest of the market bottomed out, while the rest of the market was basically devastated by what was going on, Volt and the Volt army are now in the $60+ million market cap area off of a $70,000 market cap, and bought up a dip yesterday. Somebody who's been holding since V1 sold out 60 ETH. They're gonna have a nice Christmas. Sold out 60 ETH yesterday, and not in a nice whale pattern, by the way. No respectful, slow, sell a little bit, sell a little bit, let people eat the dip. Like, no, not responsible, respectful, or anything like that. Just dumped it all and bolted. So first of all, fuck that guy. And secondly, I'm glad that person made a bunch of money. You know what I mean? WAGMI Games. So if you go over here to Mint WAGMI Company, now for some reason you can only do this with a MetaMask wallet, and I've tried. I keep trying to connect different wallets and stuff, but it only takes MetaMask. So if you're interested in them, then you got to move your money over to the MetaMask. But there are a lot left. So there's just a whole bunch. They sold 2,520 of 5,973. Now, it's kind of came out of nowhere. And it was a good addition. It's a good addition to the ecosystem, and it's a fun way for you to engage and read a little bit about the Nifty wars. And then I think, but Nifty, by the way, is nitrous ferrite or something like that. That's the idea, and that's what they use for energy. But it's actually pretty cool that this thing is available, and it's a good story. It's a good story. It takes place in 3022. The world's been overcome. It's aliens versus humans, and we haven't seen the game come out yet, but it's pretty soon we're going to have that big launch, and that'll be the start. And I still have 3 of the Genesis NFTs, so I'm super excited about what's going to happen here. And I mean, it's a video game, but it's a tower defense video game, and those tend to do fairly well. So we'll see what happens. Terrarium, again, nothing really going on with Terrarium. 6, the number of days until the launch. Did you know that 6 is the only number that both of them? I don't want to do math right now. Bull Run Life tomorrow. Bull Run Life will start staking. So if you are interested, then you'll be able to stake over at the Bull Run Life. Then MetaMonkey AI. No big announcements coming out of here. Little stuff. Today is Tuesday. Is that right? Jesus Christ, I don't even know what day it is. Ain't this a bitch? Yeah, Tuesday. So tomorrow, Wednesday, there's going to be this Wednesday hangout, and you're going to be able to win some stuff from that. And then finally, RGI, which is Robo Global Investment. No announcements out here either. Just everybody's kind of celebrating the holiday season, and that leads us to, hey, thank you for the $2 bomb. I appreciate you, Pretzel. When 1337. That's the word. That's my words. When 1337 on BRL. Modi, you're on the clock, man. Figure that shit out and let me know. Now, technical analysis. All right, guys. Let's do this real quick here. Let's get this out of the way. Ethereum is trading around 1210 right now, but Robo Inu is up 8% to 2833. Now, remember, they were trading at 4,000 something before, so this has been a quick reversal to the downside over here. Hopefully, you took profits up here at the top. I did not, because I'm holding on to it. Because remember, I was going to sell down here, and then I had this nice little run. And you know what? I'm going to let this thing play out because the market cap is not significant. So maybe this thing will do something, and it'll be worth holding on to long term. And it's only a little bit of money. Like, it's not even worth making a play or making a move on it. So, All right, Maddie, have fun, man. Have a good day. MMAI 3295, just not a lot of movement, downward pressure. Terrarium, kind of the same thing. Just, everybody's just kind of buying a little bit, waiting to see what happens. Like, we want to see, look, at this point, we want to see that venture capital that Milton was talking about. Like, we want to see some serious money start coming into the project because, there's going to be a lot of people who feel like they're owed at least some of that dignity and respect. To have that thing happen, to have some venture capital come back in, to make them whole again, so that they can then make a reasonable decision about their investment. Because look, they were not told that, hey, by the way, we're going to be paying our payroll. Hey, by the way, we're going to be paying for the Burj Khalifa. Hey, by the way, we're taking 300,000 out for liquidity. There are a lot of things that people were not told prior to making an investment decision. They were just kind of like, hey, we got this new project, the centralized exchange. This is what we're going to do. So the details were not being really given out. And, that could go a lot better. And I think that, once we start to see that pump, and if we legitimately see venture capital come in, and we start to see, little seed investments, and we start to see seed investments, not just the team giving away tokens, by the way, but seed investments. If we start to see that happen, then it's going to restore a lot of confidence in what they're doing. And listen, it's the confidence of a degen market, of a shattered sort of degen market. Remember, the playbook here is they're going to launch on the 26th, maybe the 24th. They've kind of hedged on it just a little bit, but they're going to launch in 6 days roughly. And when they launch, things will start to get busy pretty quickly. They'll start to get listed on different exchanges, and you'll start to see them. You'll start to see their ecosystem just start to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you'll see it fairly quickly. When we go over here and we look at where it is right now, the playbook, by the way, probably should have been to spread itself out all over the place, but right here, 6.5 million market cap, trading volume $67,000, markets. So here's the markets. Uniswap is where it gets most of its volume. It's not on any of the good exchanges that trade large volume. So I think they're just kind of being quiet for a little while, waiting for their moment, waiting for their play. And then, you're going to see Gate.io, you're going to see OKX, you're going to see all these different places and it's just all of a sudden, like all of a sudden, I think you see a lot of interest start to spike. But I think that I think they decided a long time ago to just kind of miss the playbook and just go with a wait and see pattern, which is probably why they weren't doing business with Austin and stuff like that. So, or your pop or any of these guys that they decided to go over to instead of me, Ugh. But anyway, venture capital come in, make move, and then boom, boom. So thank you for the $20 bomb, Richard Awad. Is Volt a short hold or a long hold project? Volt is a long hold project, Richard. Volt taxes going in is 13. Volt taxes coming out is 13. So you need a 20%, 26% swing in order to start making money. And this is all about serious money. This is not about that short-term sort of flip hold. Not knocking Volt. They've done more than anyone else, but there's still hype in it. That is correct. What they have, the reason for the hype, by the way, is because they have a dedicated community of thousands upon thousands of people who are willing to stop at a moment's notice and go crazy for the benefit of their token. And if you take it a step further, then you can go to Volt Inu over here, and you can see not only do they have a game which you can play, and in this game you can win up to $1,000 in Ethereum by playing the game. You can also burn up to $10,000 of your native token if your team wins the game. Then take that, move that away, and then you have VoltaChange, which burns 0.25% of all of its tokens, plus every transaction burns 0.25% of the native token. So it's going to burn Volt, which is the native token. And then if I were to trade for Ethereum right now, it would burn 2.5%, 0.25% of my transaction. And just as an idea here, for Luna Classic, Binance burns 0.1%. VoltaChange burns twice as much. So it's right. The issue right now is to continue that hype to lead to massive adoption of those kind of things. And then maybe they'll have something, worthy of doing. And then this is just the start of their ecosystem. This is not the end of their ecosystem. So they don't have staking right now. They don't have, some of the other things that people do have. So, and we'll see what those next steps are. At some point, they're going to have to turn off taxes if they want to get on the big exchanges, stuff like that. Remember, SHIB isn't built that way. So, at some point, they're just going to have to relinquish it all. And this is the play. And it'll probably be when they get their first really big tier 1 listing. So, and I mean really big, because you can look at their volume and they're trading $5 million a day. So there's nothing insignificant about what Volt's doing. They're doing this big amount. So the trading volume is $5.4 million per day. Every token in our ecosystem can only dream of that shit. They got on Poloniex the other day, and it's trading $2 million a day. They got on BTCEX the other day, and it's trading $1.3 million a day. They've always traded about $1 million a day on Gate.io, and Gate.io allows you to charge taxes. So they're able to continue to fund themselves and continue to do all the things that they've needed to do because they're in a great position. So it is a long-term hold. And look, people are always going to be looking for the next SHIB. People are always going to be looking for the next Saitama. People are always going to be looking for the next Doge. People are always going to be looking for something like that. And Volt has placed itself for right now the front of the line. So if the market flips and people are looking for that risk asset, Volt naturally comes into play because it's got a big thriving community, and that can't be understated. It doesn't mean that they'll be around in 50 years or 20 years or 10 years, but it does mean that right now they're on the hype train and might do really well because of it. We'll see what happens long term. WAGMI, 32.98, Decanect 15.68, BRL $1.72.24. Still moving a little bit downward. Still moving, and listen, I keep saying that I think that it's gonna find some support at this line, and it's starting to break out of that line. And I was told yesterday that maybe there's a big plan, for a launch and a staking mechanism, et cetera, et cetera. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out. But I do think that there is a big trend reversal coming on BRL, but that's not financial advice. You know what I mean? So Volt trading at 10.15, Lillian at 15.63. Continuing, by the way, every day it wears down just a little bit, because look, people need to be stimulated. People need to be told you're important. What you're saying is so, they need to be, your investment is so much more important than everybody else's investment. So, if they're not seeing a big lift off of it, and they're not going to be here at the end. So, if that's the case, then, it's just, the longer it takes, the lower it's going to go. But they do seem to have, they are holding a line kind of right here, and it's at that local top from this pump right here. So, I mean, it's possible that, they use this as support once, they use it as support twice. So now that they're hitting it again, maybe they bounce off. You know what I mean? So we'll see. And then Lit down 26%, 26.9%. Another breakdown. Wait. That is, look at this. Look, we called this the other day, and I told you guys that this is the spot. This is where you get lit, son. Because this is where the trend reversal always seems to happen, when you're in this area right here, and then you see that big pump move to that next level. So it's entirely possible that you see that play out pretty soon. But now it's time to get into some serious technical analysis, and I'm going to tell you why this market is about to crash, and it's going to look ugly, I think. So right here you can see, so there's different lines here that are at play right now, and I think that we're going to have a widening gap play out over the next little while. But the one that I want to talk about is Bitcoin right here. This is the one. So, all right. So there's a parallel channel here, because we're trading inside that parallel channel and have been for a little over a year now. So that is that is the way that we're trading, right? This line over here started, and I'm going to show you this right here, started out here July of 2017, touched it December of 18, touched it again January of 19, touched it again March of 2020. But this line has been consistent, and it hasn't been broken, okay? And that's in 5 years. In 5 years, that has not been broken. Well, it looks like we're about to hit that line. And if this is any indication, it's probably going to be right here on the 16th, right there. So this is the spot where we probably touch that line. So the last time we sprung off of that line was right here. And this bar pattern shows that over the course of a couple months, after springing from this spot right here, this is what happened, okay? That's how it played out. Now, if you come over here and you say, well, what about this one over here? Well, let's go look at that one. And then we do just a couple over here. This is a little bit muted, but you can see right here that there was still a significant move, right? Well, what about over here? Well, if you go right here, then you go up to here and then bang on this. And then you got this right here. Now, diminishing returns. This was the first one. This was the second one. This was the third one. So it's not working its way out. But we're going to zoom back in here. and we're going to say that, if it hits right here, and it's going to hit right here, then this is the option. It's going to come up here, and we're going to be looking at somewhere around 24,000. We're going to be looking at somewhere near 31,000, or we're going to be looking at 45,000. Now, I'm willing to say there's no chance that happens. And to be fair, like, it should be like closer to here, and I think that's around 30. Yeah. So the most likely scenario is this right here, playing out to about, a max of 24,000. But this is what happens when Bitcoin hits that line. Now, we're in strange times. So let's take that for a second. What happens if this breaks down? So what happens if after 5 years, because patterns will always break at some point. What happens when this pattern breaks and this shit right here is no longer holding support? Well, the answer to that is going to be, and this is where everybody's talking about $12,000 to $10,000. This is what's going to happen. So you're going to see this breakdown immediate. And where is this line? Well, this line is 12,000. And why is it 12,000? Because it was used as resistance here. It was used as resistance here. It was used as resistance here. These are 3 big areas of resistance over the last 4 years. Well, what if that doesn't hold? What if those resistance spots don't work? Well, there's another one right here where we used it as resistance, support, resistance, 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 and support. 6 times, 6 major areas. And what is that number? Well, that number, my friends, is $10,000. So when you hear people talking about Bitcoin going to 12,000 and you hear people talking about going to 10,000, this is exactly why, because this is how this is all looking like it's playing out right now. So what do you guys think? I mean, like, this works out completely that we are headed either we're headed to around 24 to 30,000 in weeks, by the way, in weeks. We're either headed there or we are headed big time down. Now, the market is preparing for a winter freeze through January, February, and March, and a massive sort of recession happening at that same period of time. That being said, what is the natural move here? That's the question. Like, what is the natural move? What is the natural play? By the way, Dow Jones is up 45 points to start the day, so at least we're in some positive green. But this is the number. This is the if we're playing patterns on a chart, this is exactly where we are. This is exactly what's going to happen. And we should see somewhere between a bump to 24,000. And by the way, let's just use the most recent example as our example, right? So we use that, and we'll just say right here, we hit that. So it looks like about 30,000 is about the pump that we would do. And then if you look over here, then we're gonna look at the time frame, right? Well, this ends up being, because it's weekly candles, by the way, this puts us into March, which is tax time. So February and March during tax time, that's when you could see this massive little spike here and start to see some recovery on Bitcoin, not sustained, by the way, but at least you could see a nice bounce right there. So if that doesn't happen, and if we do not get that bounce, then we are looking at 12,000 right here, and then 10,000 right here. So there it is. This is, look, basically this is everything you need to know about cryptocurrency right now. It doesn't mean, by the way, that you can't make money off of BRL. Doesn't mean you can't make money off of Volt. Doesn't mean you can't make money off of a whole bunch of different tokens. It just means you got to play smart. You got to be wise, at least about some of these things that you're doing. Make sure that you don't get in a situation where you get yourself out of position. Don't get stuck in a trade. Just don't get wrecked. Just don't get wrecked, and everything will be just golden. So anyway, yeah, Master P says 10,000. Daniel says 12,000. Both of those are reasonable ranges based on the chart. The chart is the chart. Like, it tells you, it tells you that we're either hitting 10 or we're hitting 12, or or because, these are, everything breaks, right? And this right here, these guys, everybody's thinking that this is going to break down, right? But there's been a resilience here, and that resilience here is what we're fighting against. What you guys are saying as the fight, by the way, is that this resistance doesn't hold, this resistance doesn't hold, this resistance doesn't hold, this resistance doesn't hold. That's 5 years worth of resistance right here that you guys think is not going to hold, but it's held for 5 years for a reason. So we might be looking at something good. We might be looking at the start of some sort of rally when it bounces off of that. Now, of course, that doesn't mean we're going on a bull run, doesn't mean that we're going to do anything great. It just means that the possibility certainly exists that we get a good bounce and something happens. So, but here we go. I mean, we're gonna certainly find out what's happening, and we're gonna find out 3 weeks from now. I mean, within 3 weeks, we're gonna know what happens. Now, if we see one of these God candles happen over here, like this is when, so this right here is May 9. This is when Terra failed. And this is when Elon failed, right? So, we could see one of these God candles just kind of hit us all at once. And the next thing you know, here we are. Now, the question is, do we hover at 10,000? Do we hover at 12,000? Or do we bounce? Because, let's go back here. When we hit 10,000, we went to 12,000. We dumped back down to 10,000, and then boom, that's when it kicked off a massive sort of run. And we're looking, by the way, this is logarithmic. So, we'll see we'll see what's going to happen here. That would be, yeah, there's definitely not going to be we're not in a bull run. There's not enough money right now. There's coin market cap shows us trading at 809. So we're up 9 billion overnight, but the trading volume is still $38 billion. I mean, that doesn't even support the market cap that we're currently at right now. So since we're not in that position, then, I mean, we're definitely headed down. That's almost guaranteed. But anyway, let me know what you think. I got to go. It's time for me to go do my pickup. So this is not financial advice. My name is Believes. I am always right. We will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Manage your portfolios accordingly, man. Look at this chart. Tell me what you think. I mean, go do it. Go do it for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, go look at this thing for yourself, and you tell me, does it not look like we are about to get, you know what I mean? So we'll talk to you guys again very, very, very soon. Come back for Bedtime with Believes in 12 hours.
I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world. I want to be shining